Thank you for taking this moment to breathe and to listen to what can change your life forever. My name is Ragnar Sinikas, and I'm the founder of Starpreneur TV, How to Dominate the Decade Talk Show, World Women Conference and Awards, the creator of Coral Desk, the coach of the Changemakers, and co-author of the book Dominate the Decade. My mission is to empower through education, and thank you very much for joining us today. Today, I have the honor to talk with Cristal Balk, and she's from San Diego, United States, and she's the founder of Unstoppable Marketing Solutions, also podcast host for Your Business Reality with CB. And Cristal is marketing executive chief for IQ Podcasts. Her purpose is to help and educate her community in the importance of having the right marketing that fits for those business owners. So, welcome, Cristal. Tell us a little more about yourself, your story. Why are you doing what you're doing, and what is it all about your passion?
Thank you, Ragnar, for having me. I'm truly excited to be in How to Dominate the Decade. You're doing incredible things. But so a little bit about myself, a little bit about my background. My mom's Mexican, my dad's American. My dad was in the military. My mom was married a military guy. And so we moved around a lot. Thankfully, we lived a lot in San Diego. That did bring into my cultural side with the Mexicans, right? And so every Christmas, every holiday, because my dad was far away, we would go to Mexico, and I would be with my cousins who were all involved in marketing, and they would talk about different concepts, different ideas, target audience and so forth. So I was exposed at such a young age, but I had no idea that I was going to go into that particular field until I came to college. College gave me a different perspective. I was going into a whole different career. I was definitely going corporate. Definitely was not thinking about entrepreneurship at all. I had considered it, but didn't really dive into it until my last year of college. I was freelancing for bigger companies in marketing, and I was noticing there was something missing. And what was missing was the personalized or the emotional touch with marketing, right? So people tend to fall in love with the character, with the person, or with the business owner rather than the business. And so a lot of the focus was just on logistics and on the business, and nothing, maybe missing the psychology aspect in marketing, which is very important. And that's why a lot of people say, well, it doesn't work. Right. And so it's like you didn't brand yourself, you didn't brand your business. And so now you want to go in and adjust and put something that somebody else is doing, but you're not that person, right? You have to find, as a business and a business owners, what is it that your passion? So I had to do a big project in the university, and had to find, at the time I was working for the university, and I had to find a problem. And one of the major problems was marketing. A lot of the marketing was billboards, bus benches, that kind of marketing. And they were spending thousands of dollars. But I came with a cost-effective price, and they eventually became part of the marketing team for the school. And because I worked a lot with the community, I got a lot of feedback. So I would go in and let them know, well, they can't even apply to the college. It's very hard to apply, right? So you're already missing people out of that off the bat. And so it was not until my husband, at the time we were engaged, he was like, you're actually really good at this, and I've never seen you more passionate than ever, and you're truly helping people. Why don't you go out and start your business? And Ragnar, I looked at him and I was like, what? And I was like, starting a business? My mom's had a lot of real estate in the past and so forth, and so I know how much it was going to be costing in time and so forth and effort, right? It doesn't just grow. You have to really put a lot of effort into it. And he was like, don't worry, I'll help you. We'll do 50-50. I'll help you on the back end. And he still does, by the way. I may be the showman, but I wouldn't be here without the team that I have, honestly. And we started it. Now, the first year, I was trying to finish school, right? And so I didn't pay too much attention in the business. I was still going through a lot of problems, a lot of hiccups, insurance, DBAs. You name it. There was always a hiccup. And so by the time I graduated, so it was last year, April, I went full force. And I was very excited that I did that, because the best way that I was able to grow was to go out into the community, meet people, right? Mingle and see, and people need to know who Crystal was, right? Unstoppable Marketing Solutions is just the name of the company, but people needed to know who the owner was. And so that's what I did. And so I grew up, like blew up here in my community, and then going into events like where I met you with the JT Fox event, going into events and meeting entrepreneurs that I really wanted to maybe learn from, and maybe in like work together like you and I are, right? And so that's kind of a little bit of my background, how I started with the marketing. A lot of times people say it was an accident. I don't think it was an accident, because honestly, my passion for what I do, I there's no money that people can pay me to stop doing what I'm doing. And so for me, that's a purpose. And that's for me to wake up every morning and say, okay, let's go out and do what we need to do and help and unite people. And there is a lot of people at the moment that they're confused. They're not sure which direction they're going to go. They're confused within themselves, in the sense of, okay, what kind of skills do I have to adjust to this new, world? And so I'm more than ever supporting people in their businesses and their ideas, and taking out their skills and their best about them in order to move forward and continue and support their families.
So you are writing, co-authoring book. What is this collaboration all about? What is your message in that book?
Oh, yeah. So I'm really excited about this book that we are writing. The message basically does focus on marketing, but it actually focuses more about awareness and putting yourself out there, right? And so a lot of times people go, okay, I have a business. Come find me. It doesn't work that way. You have to go out first. You start in your community, and then if you want to expand, you want to expand to other areas. And this is why we have social media accounts, right, to connect worldwide, websites, etc. So a lot of the messaging is basically coming out in your personal branding, knowing who you are as yourself, and your business and your goal for your business, right? It's very important. And also finding the way of bringing out the awareness. So basically like this, doing live videos, maybe try to get yourself in some magazine and maybe some radios to help build the credibility faster. We already know you're great at what you do, right? The rest of the world has to see it, and you have to showcase it. And a lot of times people say, well, I know a lot of people, but that only limits you so far, and you can only grow so far. And so being able to have all these different areas in the marketing, from website to social media to media marketing, so, radio, TV, whatever it may be, to showcase what you're doing for the rest of the world to see, right? You don't want to limit yourself to just your community. You want to go all around the world. And so the messaging is more about coming out of your shell and just showcasing what you have to offer.
And if I would ask, and I am asking, how do you distinguish yourself in business and in life? What is your answer today?
So a lot of times people come to me, they're like, you're not the typical marketing person. And I take that as a compliment, only because I don't work traditionally, because I already know what traditionally means. And I don't believe in tradition. I believe in innovation, creativity, but also plugging out what's best about you. So one thing that I'm known for is, a lot of times when people come to me, they don't know what their bright area is, right? They don't know what they're really, really good at. And I pull that out from them, and I help them showcase it, and for their business or for themselves, whichever. And so I'm really good at that particular area, bringing the best of you and showcasing it.
Beautiful. So what would you say, what are the common challenges that you see entrepreneurs find when they're building their brand and their marketing strategies?
I feel a lot of times there's a lot of marketing, right? There's a lot of people want to copy other people. They see, well, it's working for them, it should work for me, right? And so you want to be transparent, so the way you are in person wants to be transcend into online. And so no, you're not going to be the same person as that. Now you may work on some techniques that they work for them that you can definitely work on, absolutely, but you as a person should never be copying anybody else. You should be yourself, and people now more than ever want uniqueness, want people that are genuine, trustworthy, loyal. And so if you are, perceiving completely opposite, then by the time they meet you, it's going to be off and it's not going to work out. So more than ever, just be yourself, and there's always a way to showcase that. Now, with that being said, there's certain things that you should not be saying in public, right? For your business and so forth. Keep it to yourself. If it's not nice, just keep it to yourself. Because unfortunately, that can drive people away from you and your business. And you don't want that. Just because of a silly comment or something that people didn't agree with you, it's just better to stay in a way somewhat neutral for your business to definitely grow and not be completely affected, right? And so you don't want 50% of the people not coming to you because of that particular comment. And so I know there's so much going on right now more than ever. So right now it's just kind of difficult, but at the same time, we have to survive, right? As a business, there's so many, at least here in San Diego, so many businesses are closing down. They can't afford it anymore, and they're closing out forever. And so now more than ever, this is the time to stick together, and work together, and but also don't forget about your identity.
You mentioned, have you ever seen also that when you recommend someone to, maybe which has been very loud voice on every single topic on publicly, in a sense that are people mixing up their professional image with their personal image, and how much that can hurt them?
Absolutely. I think within the past week, I have viewed people differently, just because of their messaging. Now, like, I understand there's a lot going on, but there's no need to be disrespectful. There's no need to be rude. And unfortunately, to a certain point, now that builds the distrust, that I was like, well, I don't know about that person anymore because of what he or she is saying. And so I don't know if, like, in the future, we will probably work together. Absolutely. It affects, like I said, everything you do as a person will definitely affect, whether you want it or not, affect your business. At the end of the day, if you are perceived very professional, you should definitely stay very professional. If you are perceived very artsy, then stick to your artsy. But at the same time, because there's so much hatred and so much disagreement happening, there's a lot of people building on their emotions. And this is not the time to get emotional, especially when your business or your name and your reputation is on the line. So yes, be very careful and cautious with how you work moving forward.
I'm very interested to know your insight on celebrity marketing, especially when we talk to really stay authentic and really stick to your message and to your roots. How that can help you, or what is in your insight with sort of the help from celebrity marketing to your business?
Yeah, so celebrity marketing, I think, for my opinion, is good as long as that person has a good reputation and it's not going to damage your business reputation, right? So think about it. You build your business reputation for so many years, and for somebody to come in and just take it all away because of their beliefs. So you definitely want to have somebody that's similar to kind of like your beliefs in a way, because people are going to be looking on that. So, think about it. There's some of celebrities that have been wild and have done whatever they want, which is fine. They should do whatever they want. However, as a business owner now more than ever, and here's the thing, when you're a business owner, you have to think of everything that can go wrong, but also that can go right? And so you are more exposed from people wanting you to fail than anything else. And so anything that jeopardizes it, now there might be people that say, oh my God, I love it. I love what you're doing and so forth. But then there might be some higher up people that said, oh, I don't disagree. I don't agree with that. So then that can cost you. So either way, it can actually damage you. But it actually brings awareness and credibility way faster than anything you would think about. And also think about just want to have somebody good. Just make sure it's somebody good that's going to help your reputation rather than tarnish it.
And what do you see how entrepreneurs can dominate their marketplace when it comes to successful marketing and branding strategy?
Yeah, so every business is different and everybody is run differently, right? And so you got to think about what your business is strong that other related or competition, I don't call them competition, but competition have that makes you stand out. So if your service is completely exceptional and then you give maybe goodie bags, I mean, just as an example, then you got to really help market that, right? The service, we give you guys free treats when you come in, rolling the red carpet. I mean, you name it. So you want to showcase whatever you're strong at and other companies may not have that you have. That is where you pinpoint your focus. A lot of times as business owners, we want to do everything, right? And so you got to focus on that one thing that you guys are known and blow it up, and then you can eventually branch out.
And what would you say about podcasting? Which would be the entrepreneurs or business owners that would definitely gain for having their own podcast or being part of the podcast? Or like for you, how do you leverage on that?
It was in my 2019 planned. So it just happened that I've already reached my goal for 2020, by the way. Everything that was envisioned from last year that I wanted to do this year has definitely come true. And, that's part of because I have not stopped and opportunities and doors have opened up. And I said, okay, let's work together. For me, it was more for understanding that I had something unique that the world needed to hear. And in the marketing world, there's a lot of unknown and a lot of people are scared of the unknown. And now we're seeing with people when they were stuck at home and things like that, they're like, all right, how do I use this technology now, right? It's because those people stick with referrals and face-to-face, which is lovely, that's great, but things are changing a little bit, right? And so podcast, I call it is like the new radio in per se. So if the messaging has to be there, right? And if you're going to be inviting people, it has to be quality people, right, to be heard. And so a lot of people right now more than ever have started a podcast, which is wonderful, right? So, but at the end of the day, what is the purpose of the podcast? Because I've seen people that start a podcast and then stop, right? So if you have a message, and it can be for any business, I'm not limiting like anybody, because a podcast is a way to educate and give information, as long as it's good information and quality stuff to people that need to hear it, right? But if you're also having guests, they have to kind of go with what you're doing. You can't just have random people either. And so for me, it was more of a awareness, educating. I love to educate. So I always thought I was going to be in the education field, but I'm using it with my business and educating people of what works and personalizes for them. And so that's a little bit more of what I'm focusing in my podcast. I do it once a week, but we have other people doing it more than once a week. But there is no limit to the business that wants to do it. But just go in with the purpose and understanding that you don't just do podcasts and everybody's going to listen to it. You have to drive people into the podcast, and you have to let them know, hey, I started a podcast. And you want to get feedback, right? And you want to get feedback whether you're doing something right or you're doing something wrong, because that's going to help you build your podcast and become more bigger as well.
What do you see happening with all your clients, and what is your advice on them? Like if you see the marketing strategy or messaging, which is I assume that's the specialty of yours. Mm. What they should do differently now, being under those circumstances, like should they position themselves better? Should they change their messaging? Like what in reality, what do you see that companies do differently, and what should be done differently?
Yeah, so in the past week, I've received so many cold emails, right? I disagree with cold emails only because it's annoying and I'm not going to buy from you because I don't know you. So what I recommend and what I think honestly does work is building relationships, right? So you have all these people in your platforms, in your LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and maybe you do have your email list, but as long as you stay in touch and you keep it personal and you keep it like, no, I'm just not trying to sell you, you have to sell without having to sell, meaning you have to be genuine in being there to give them information, but also by the time, value. So by the time they come to you, they're already sold. You don't have to ask them. They're going to come to you and say, oh, I'm ready, right? I'm going to buy from it. And so I think more than anything, this is a time to go into your Facebook, and maybe those Facebook friends that you have that you've never talked to or you lost contact with, go in and message them and see how they're doing and ask how their business is going. It's just building that relationship, and you never know what can come up of a conversation like that. Honestly, coming out as somebody that's caring and somebody that's like, how can I help you, rather than, hey, here's this, that's not going to sell. What's going to sell is you being able to enforce and build that relationship. And those people are going to say, well, you know what, Crystal cares. And that's why I think I get told I'm not the typical marketing person. It's because I generally go, okay, how can I help you? What's going on? When I see somebody stressed out, okay, we need to teach you the basics, right? How to just do a basic page. Okay. So definitely now more than ever, this is the time to educate yourself and also learn how to build relationship. This is not the time to sell. This is the time to connect with people, how they're doing. And then eventually the selling point will come through.
As you're so fresh coming out from the school where you were learning that, and actually now being in action, how much of everything that you learned at school, at university, are you really using for advising people, and or where does your, let's say, wisdom comes from?
Oh my God, don't even get me started. School does not prepare you for entrepreneurship. It's a great point for you to get disciplined and for you to learn information, but it's super basic to what I had to get to. And to be honest, I learned as I go. Because when I started my business, I jumped with my 2 feet in. I didn't gradually went in, nothing. I just went in, I think I can do this, and jumped in, right? And so I was like, zero understanding of what was going to happen. I mean, everything that could go wrong went wrong, but I'm glad that it went wrong earlier. And then as I started learning, I go, I need to build relationships. I got to help people, and I love helping people. My husband says, if you can do this for free, you would. He's like, and I was like, yeah, I love educating and informing people that I know there's so much information out there, but the most information you're going to get out is from yourself. What do you want to showcase? What do you want people to know about you? What do you want people to talk about you, right? So how do you want people to talk about you? So that's very important. So yeah, definitely school did not prepare me. What I am, I actually went to school for business and emphasis in leadership. And then a little certificate on marketing, but it was super basic. I was just like, this is not going to get me anywhere. But what I did use the most, I would say, was the leadership aspect of it, was the people skills. Being able to connect, being able to bring the best out of that particular person and transcend it into their business. I would say that I went to a Christian university, so my experience compared to public university was completely different. I enjoyed my degree. I loved everything we did. But most importantly, it taught me what kind of leader do I want to be when I go out into the world. And that stuck with me because I don't want to be a bad leader. I want to make sure that I'm there for the community, and I'm huge on that. So whenever anybody comes to me and say, hey, I need your help, I'm there for them. Even if it's just informational, even if it's some like free tips, or even if it's like I will give them something. And that's the one thing coming out of college that stick with me, not necessarily the marketing, it was the leadership aspect of it.
And who would you say, who is your client today? Who's your audience? Who are you captivating?
My audience are business owners and small business owners, mom and pop shops, maybe realtors, maybe loan people that have their own area, insurance agents. I have all over, but basically small business owners, because they're the ones that, corporations, they typically have an in-house marketing person helping them out. Bigger nonprofit organizations have an inside person. I also do help smaller nonprofits as well, currently helping them. And so anybody that's small business owner that can't afford like a big person, that's where I go in and I help and I guide and I even teach their employees as well.
Okay, you have mentioned teaching many times. How have you structured your teaching? Is it teaching on what specific area?
So you'd be surprised. Sometimes I have to teach people the fundamentals of business, right? Because they start a business, but they don't really understand the finance or like the back end aspect of it, or how to project. You do a project X amount of time and so forth. Or sometimes I go in and do guidelines of how to teach the basics of marketing and how it works for their particular clientele. So only specifically for them. Now, a lot of people will call that consulting, right? And so you're consulting for the businesses, which is pretty much the same. But I like the part educating, because I don't just go in and tell them what you need for your business. I go in and actually teach you about the importance of each particular area. And I stay a little bit more time with you until you 100% understand it.
So thank you everybody who has joined us today. So if you have any questions or comments for Cristal and me, then please write them below the video that you're watching. I can see immediately the questions that are asked under the Ragne Sinika's profile. I can't see the Coral Desk ones, but we will answer the questions anyways if we receive them there. So until people send me questions, what is your 3 recommendations how to dominate the decade?
So my favorite recommendation is stick with what you know and embrace it, right? Another thing is going to be, you want to be on social media platforms now more than ever. Like, for those of you that are probably like, well, I'll do it later. This is the time right now to do it right now and starting to do engagement. And then the third one would be, find other people that support you in your business and see how they can assist you and help you, and vice versa.
Beautiful. So we have some questions here. You mentioned personal branding. What can you tell us about management branding?
Okay, so basically a little bit more, and it's a little bit of general. Um, Basically, it's going to be your management branding is how you lead your team. Okay, so if one of your team, okay, so if your company is part of, we do amazing service, you'll get, XYZ, nobody's going to be ever disrespectful, and then you have that one employee that loses it and is disrespectful, then there goes we're the best in the service. So the management branding of it is also branding your employees into believing in the goals in your company, right? So the values and the mission and the vision, they have to believe in it and they have to follow it as well. So that's part of a different kind of branding, but it also reflects and affects the business from your end. I hope I answered that.
Let's see. Is there a difference between public relations and promotion?
I would say yes and no. Okay, so the public relations is, is the media aspect, being seen that. However, whether it's social media, whether it's media, there's always some kind of promotions. People are always trying, whether it's like sending them to your website, whether sending them to your Amazon account, whether it's sending them somewhere, that's part of the promotion aspect of it. And I would hope to a certain point that you are promoting what you're doing in your business, whether it's a consultation or whether it's actually buying a physical product. Either way, they're both promoting into that particular aspect. At the end of the day, even though we are a business and we are here to assist and guide, at the end of the day, we have to make those sales, right? We have to make money in order to continue and stay afloat in overall.
Don't you see that? I think in that matter, that line between of them is really, really disappearing as more people are using the sales funnels, and sales funnels always have the call to action, which basically is when the PR sort of gets over to promotion. So it's a very good question, and I think that's really something that it's changing in a fast pace in today's especially online marketing. If we talk about online marketing, at least that those are
I think the behavior as far as the communication and the it's also disappearing in the sense of it's no longer about it's more about just the sales. It's no longer about building the relationship. It's being lost along the way. It's just sell, and it's pushed all over.
What are the new marketing trends of the future?
That is going to be that's a perfect question. I think right now, obviously, like video is big, right? But I think more like live stuff is going to happen more, especially with people like staying in their homes. And they're like, we want to see more about that real action, what's happening. But right now, at this moment, I don't know. I can't tell you, because in the next month, it can change. That's how marketing is adapting and changing. Like right now, the whole TikTok thing, right? It's like huge on the younger generation, but for business owners, it's not that good. So that marketing for them doesn't necessarily work. But for the younger crowd, that's perfect. So there's different kinds of levels of marketing as well coming in through. I would hope that, LinkedIn is popping, by the way. LinkedIn is becoming like a mini Facebook / professional for Facebook / professionals. And so that's another thing that people are going into it. But I'm really intrigued to see what kind of softwares and new ideas are going to be coming in with the next year, because I'm sure there will be.
Describe your most successful marketing campaign up to date.
I work organically. I don't do campaigns at all. And the reason why is because when I worked in the bigger companies, that's what they were pushing, campaigns. But Ragnar, when you have a profile of a client that is not prepared, right? So before you buy from somebody, you're going to go and check out their accounts. And if they're not prepared, they're not professional, they're not transparent, you're not going to buy from them. So I thought, in my opinion, it was a waste of time. So what I did, I reversed it. I worked organically. I taught them how to perceive themselves. And then eventually when they were ready to do campaigns, they were. But I personally don't care for them. And I personally work more organically.
What are the core capabilities of your agency?
The core capabilities. We believe, in my company, we believe that no business is less. We take everybody, we listen to everybody, whether they can afford us or not. Like I said, I'll direct them or give them the necessary information for them to go out and do it on their own if that's necessary. But I believe that every business has an opportunity and a chance to do their marketing correctly with the right guidelines without having to pay too much money.
So if someone wants to follow you, if someone wants to ask questions, how can they do so?
Yeah, so right now I have a 30-minute consultation completely for free. I listen to anybody, whatever questions you might have, those moments, you say, oh, I have a quick question. Maybe I should speak to Crystal. It's going to be unstoppablemarketingsolutions.com. And then if you want to email me, it's going to be customers@unstoppablemarketingsolutions.com.
Beautiful. So what would be your final message to everybody that came today to listen to you and me? So what would you say?
Yeah, definitely stay positive. We will get through this. Learn and inform yourself as much as possible. Go into Google. If you don't know enough about an area of marketing, Google it. If you don't know about how to create a website and cost effective, Google it. There's a lot of information in Google that you can definitely use and utilize without having to spend too much money, and also educating yourself in it, because when things start running again, you want to make sure that you know the information and you know what's going on in your business.
Beautiful. So thank you everybody who joined us today. I hope you made some notes. If you didn't, go back to this video, take your white paper, take your pen and start to write down. And not just only write down, also take action on them. And usually speed of implementation is the difference that you need today in order to dominate your market. So do so. Change your own life, change your own business, and by doing so, you become the hero of your life. But you also have the opportunity to become the hero of someone else's life. How? Just share this video, because we never know who needs to hear those little tips that we gave today. Maybe someone really desperately needs to talk the 30 minutes with Crystal, and that 30 minutes will change their life. So you never know. So become the hero of your own life and the life of someone else. It's only one click away. Thank you very much, Crystal, for being here. Thank you for sharing your advice with us, your knowledge with us. And we hope to talk to you very soon again. We send you a lot of greetings to San Diego. We hope that the businesses will be improving soon there. And thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Bye-bye.